All right, thank you for tuning in, as always, to Auto Transport for Dummies. In this video, we're going to be talking about something we've gone over many times, but we're in 2025 now. It's a new era, new day, new president. So let's explain the best ways to get a vehicle shipped fast and at the lowest price in 2025. So first things first, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, subscribe button, and of course, if you're in the market to ship your own vehicle, go ahead and check us out at airride.com. We of course ship all vehicles nationally and internationally, and would love to help you out. We're pretty good at getting cars moved and not having them go missing. Okay, so step one in this process is honestly going to be you have to find the right company. Now you might be sitting there saying, well, hey Wes, that's easier said than done. Been on YouTube and Google all day. I still have no idea who to trust with my car. Got it. I understand that. So best thing to do is honestly eliminate UShip, Shipley, and all that stuff right off the bat. Not that I'm a big fan of the big brokers. I'm really not. But those are probably even worse. Secondly, you got all these big brokerages. Don't put your name into these big aggregators, okay? Ask your friends, ask around, and of course, if you want our recommendations, of course, we would suggest using airride.com, AIRRYD.com. I mean, I'm actively involved with Airride, so I help all the time. But if you don't like what we have, there are some other names out there, but I would highly recommend just looking at Yelp and Google. Don't take the company's reviews on face value, and unless the company is highly rated and you can find them on Reddit and other platforms and other people have a lot of experiences dealing with them, don't go with them, because you're more than likely going to end up with a problem if you go with the companies that are just not well known. Okay, they might not have the resources to handle problems. They might be trying to scam you. So you gotta keep it to the well-reviewed and well-known companies. That's all I can tell you about that. Oh, and one quick point. Do not, under any circumstances, go with auction preferred shippers, okay? You're never going to get the car out of there, and they actually intentionally set up their own shipping service so they can delay it, so they can charge you storage fees. That's been going on what is it, Ready Logistics, I think, that's partnered with Manheim, and Copart probably. They all pull this stuff. So you're just giving them free money by going with that service. Secondly, the dealer preferred services are, maybe okay, maybe not. It really just depends. A lot of times dealers are trying to make an extra buck by getting kickbacks from some broker they recommend. So it may or may not be a good idea to go with a dealer, preferred provider. So, assuming you found the right company, okay, and they're actually willing to work with you, step one is going to be you have to have maximum flexibility, okay? You cannot give the brokerage or the person you're working with 1 day or 1 hour and say, I need to have this moved, because that's not how this industry works. It works with windows of time, okay? Almost like everything else in the shipping world, you never have exact times or exact days. They always give you an estimate. So with auto shipping, it's even more so like that. You need a minimum of a 2 to 3 day window, preferably during any business week. Weekends are much more challenging to get units picked up on, and you need to be ready to go at within a few hours of notice, because the thing is, options may present themselves like out of nowhere, and if your vehicle's not ready to go, well, then that brokerage cannot dispatch the order out. So you having maximum flexibility will help the brokerage get the vehicle moved rapidly for you. So that's step one. Step two is going to be, if you live in a remote location, okay, like middle of the Rockies in Colorado, or middle of somewhere in Montana where nobody's driving out to, okay, and you want to move this car fast, you need to get this car to a bigger major city somehow, anyhow, anyway, okay? We just had a guy ask us about a transport from, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the Rockies in Colorado up to almost the Canadian border in Michigan. That is never going to get picked up. The only way you're going to get that moved is bringing that vehicle closer to a major city like Denver or Colorado Springs and shipping it up to a more a populated area like Detroit or Grand Rapids or Flint, Michigan, or somewhere anywhere in that vicinity. Once you get into these super remote areas, it gets infinitely more difficult to get the vehicle moved quickly. Okay, I will just tell you that right now. So if you're upset and you're at whoever you're working with because they can't move the car faster, that's how you can help them get it moved quicker. Move the car and be willing to meet the driver at a more favorable location. That will help move the car a lot faster. It actually reminds me of Long Island. Oh my God. For all you Long Islanders out there, no one wants to go to Long Island. I know you all love living there, but the trucks hate that island. If you want to move a car fast out of Long Island, get that effing car over to the New Jersey side. Yeah, it's a 1 hour drive, whatever, but you're going to get the car moved. So up to you. But if you want to move it fast, that's how to get it done. Third on my list, okay, understand that the prices are also not guaranteed. This is a fluid market. There are thousands of cars moving all over the USA on giant load boards, okay? Trucking companies have their pick of loads. They can sit there and cherry pick the best paying loads all day. So what does that mean? It means if your load is not a favorable looking load, you got all kinds of conditions on it, you got 1 hour of availability, you can't move the needle on the price, $20, guess what? Trucking companies don't care. They don't have emotions about it. They'll pick up a better paying load, an easier load to deal with, while yours continues sitting there. So if you want to move it, deal with a $50 hike or a $100 hike. It's not always the broker that everybody thinks doing it. The reality is most of the time they're probably trying to find you a good option, and 95% of the cost is going to the trucking company, okay? It just costs money to do things. So if you want to move it quickly and it's not moving, this is the third step in the process. Now, maybe if it's a popular lane, you don't have to move the price at all. Maybe there's already good options, but if it's not moving and you got to get that thing out of there, you got to pump the rate a little higher. It'll draw in more interest to the load. More trucking companies will look at it and want to move it, okay? Versus the opposite being true. If you put 1 hour, 1 day, one price, well, who knows? Maybe it doesn't move at all. One factor that I'm just throwing in here, so you guys understand this, is that all of the quotes you see are essentially just close approximations, regardless if it's on Montway or Roadrunner or Air Ride with us. Every quote is a close approximation on the front end of any order. It's not a final rate. So you should never base your decision on moving something on the lowest number, because if that number is not competitive within the marketplace, it simply will never happen. Even if you put your credit card and even if you pay all the money down, the load will never get picked up because there's loads everywhere. And trucks can cherry pick the best, highest paying freight to move. So if your load is not competitive, these random ass quotes you're getting from wherever you're getting them from are just never going to happen. And either one of two things is going to happen. Either one, it never gets picked up, which is the most common, meaning no carrier ever actually calls in or inquires to, hey, we can move that car for you. That is probably the most common. Or number two, what will happen is they will dispatch it to some carrier at a higher rate than what they quoted you, but they won't tell you that. And then you won't find out until the car is either loaded or it's at your door that the price has now gone up $300 or $400. And that's where all these stories come from, is because people find these brokerages off of Reddit or, whatever, find me a carrier.com, I don't know. And then they get upset because they went with some crazy low quote with a company that's either has no ratings or very low or all fake reviews, which is crazy common anymore. And you're upset because you went with this low quote that you probably knew before you did it looked like it was BS, and now you're finding out it is BS. So that's the reality. But even with the best companies, okay, like ours, the closest really anybody's going to be able to get on the front end is within $100 or less, or $150 or less. And then later, once we actually have a live option to have it moved, we relay that option your way, and then you can give us a yay or nay. Yes, I'm good with that final rate. No, I'm not. But you have to understand that aspect of the process, is that this is a live market you're engaging in. And nobody can give you solid 100% guaranteed rates when you're initially getting those quotes and booking the orders. They're not finalized until later in the process. Now, that pretty much sums it up, and I understand a lot of that might sound crazy, and hey, how do I not have a final rate when I book an order? And hey, like, I don't know exactly what day it's going to be loaded and all this, but in all reality, most people find it goes pretty smoothly once you just trust and understand the process. The quotes are going to be close within $100 to $150, okay? You have to accept a little bit of flexibility there. It's just what it is. Secondly, you got to accept the fact that the dates are a little bit of a window. You have to have a 2 to 3 day window at the minimum in most cases to allow enough flexibility so that when an option presents itself in real time, we're like, hey, you know, Johnny's Transport just inquired, they can come get your car in the next 3 hours. Are you ready to go? Yes or no? If you're ready to go and you have that flexibility, boom, we can get that car picked up quick, because it's a fast moving market in that way. But if you want to be a stickler and have all these conditions on the load and be like really tight with the rate, like, you know, you're just going to burn time and you're not going to get it loaded. So you have to just understand these aspects of the process, and once you do, most people really don't have much of an issue with it. I honestly can't even tell you how many times we've had good options for people, but that option fell on a day maybe they didn't like, or the rate was like $50 higher than they were hoping for, and they pass on the option, and the next thing you know, the car's still sitting a week later, and then the next option that comes around is $300 higher. Because that's just what happens. You gotta accept a little wiggle room on the dates and the pricing, and trust the company you're working with has your best interest. That's obviously step one, or nothing else works. But the process is still what it is in 2025. Hopefully eventually maybe there's a better method eventually, but there are just so many first generation drivers now driving. The drivers are almost entirely from Ukraine, Russia, Kazakhstan, Africa, Somalia. The rates going back to 2010 are almost the same. Like, if you look at back Los Angeles to Miami 10, 12 years ago, it was like 1,000 and change. Today, still 1,000 and change. So the rates may have not changed, but the service and the quality and the types of people driving have changed. So you cannot expect the world at these rates right now. It's not going to happen. If you want crazy white glove service and you want to put all these demands and restrictions on the order, sure, be my guest. The price will go up 30 to 100%, and then we can find what you're looking for there. But don't expect that kind of service when the rates have been the same for the last 10 years, while everything else has exploded in cost. And with that, I'll leave you guys to it. Obviously, hit us up at airride.com if you're looking to ship your own car. Happy to help you guys out. If you have any other questions, hit us up in the comments. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Happy hauling. Best of luck to you all out there in 2025.